All right, Fit Fam, Ryan Milton from Team Flex. We are back with some more Arnold Classic Bikini content here. We're going to look at the rest of the class. So I did a video where we reviewed top 5. We talked about that criteria. We talked about those placings, why they may have landed the way they did, and ultimately what that means for you as a bikini competitor, which is why I'm out here making this content. And a lot of you wanted me to go ahead and do the full class here. So we're going to go now 6 through 10, the rest of the Arnold Classic Bikini class. And we're going to talk about those placings and what it means, again, criteria-wise. Where is bikini criteria heading? Where is the judging going this year, 2025, as our season has really just kicked off? And keep in mind, I'm pumping these videos 24/7 on this channel, literally doing as many as I can do. So if you have ideas, things you want to see, comment it down below and subscribe, because we got a lot more coming. All right, let's take a look. So we have our class winner, Vania, in the middle here, and I'm going to leave her in the middle this entire time. I probably should have done this on some other videos I did, but I'm going to leave her right there in the middle so we can kind of compare the winner to the placings as we move down. And hopefully give all of you a little bit of better insight there into, where the look is going, what kind of things you want to be bringing to stage, what kind of things you want to avoid this season, okay? So Vania, our winner in the middle. And by the way, it goes without saying, don't watch this video if you have not watched the other video yet. Okay, let me get my mic over here. So hopefully you heard me. But if you did not watch the top 5 video yet, go back, watch that one first, because we're going the second call it, if you will, right? So Vania, really nailed the look. She brought a really good muscular frame, really compacted the shape, the hourglass shape overall, really nailed the condition, just about spot on, perfect. And like I said in my other video, very little that I could even come up with that she could improve on for this look right here, because it was really just a slam dunk for her. Now let's move out and talk a little bit about the rest of the class. So 6th here is Jasmine, okay? So she, I saw a lot of comments on the YouTube of people like, I thought she should have won. I thought, okay, well, let's talk a little bit about her physique, because all the markers are there, okay? We got, the hourglass shape, very good hourglass shape overall. It starts with the shoulders, tapers in at the waist, comes back down in the glutes, lower body. However, just like some other athletes in even our top 5 group, I would say she came in very lean, okay? She looks really, really lean. We can see that in areas like, these bicep veins and, forearm veins and into the abdominals here. We're starting to see serratus. She even has inklings of 6-packs going on. This is all indicators of, being a little bit too conditioned, maybe a little too lean. That's a factor. But also she's pretty freaking muscular, okay, right? Like she's carrying a lot of size in these delts and a lot of size in her glute. So she does pull off the hourglass shape per se, because, it's all there. It still showcases, but it's a very kind of over-muscled look. It's similar in a lot of ways, in my opinion, to like Amy's look. Like she took second, Amy took second. She's got, that very muscle-dominant look. She's kind of got the same effect going on in a lot of ways, but she's, much leaner. So I think that was probably why she ended outside that top 5, the leaner look. But overall, a very different look looking at her compared to Vania here, right? Where Vania's got the shape in the delts, she's got the shape in the glutes and the quads and all the symmetry and shape and proportion. And looking over at Jasmine, she's got all of it, but it's, a lot more size in the delts, a lot more size in the glutes, a lot more size in the quads and the hamstrings. So I think a key indicator from judges, putting her into the 6th place, moving her out of that top 5 call out, is again moving criteria saying, hey, we don't want to see too much muscle. We don't want to see bikini competitors being too lean. And I've said it a few times in some of the other videos. I'll say it again, with the introduction of Fit Model, there's been a lot of theories about where that would take, bikini and wellness. Does that mean that they get more advanced in their look? Judges are going to want to go bigger, more muscular, leaner. I don't think it has yet to appear that way. I've been covering some previous pro shows this year, not many yet, to be fair, but there's still more coming. The Arnold generally tends to be one of these big events that we can count on as a great place to look at criteria and get an idea of as the season really starts to kick off after Arnold every single year. And what I'm seeing across the board so far is I think the introduction of Fit Model, which they wanted to be this introductory division, right, for people to come into lesser, requirements as far as muscular density and conditioning and all of that, then even bikini, I think it's actually pulled the criteria of bikini and wellness back to the roots of bikini and wellness in a lot of ways, because we're seeing athletes that are bigger, leaner, placing not in the top pretty consistently now, it shows. And it'll be very interesting to see how the season maps out. I'm just giving you guys my feedback as it sits right here, right? And that is what I'm seeing. That's kind of where we're heading, I think. All right, let's take a look over here now at Tamikia, and she is, taking 7th here at this competition. And so where she comes in is basically, a lot of similarities, what we're talking about. We're talking about the shoulder size, tapers into the waist, lower body here. Everything is good. All overall, hourglass shape still being created on this physique. Now, a little bit different. Conditioning here is hard, but it's a little bit softer than even Jasmine's, just a tad. Still probably too hard for this group, too hard for the class, and still a lot of size going on in her physique as well. A lot of shoulder development there, and a lot of glute development here. This is, again, kind of reflecting same, I would say, with Jasmine, where it's probably too much muscle on the frame and a little bit too hard in the condition. And that seems to be where the, criteria is moving at this point, especially when you look at this compared to Vania. I mean, these are very different looks. And, they're placing outside that top 5. So let's take a look now at the back, because obviously the full story is never told until we get here. For Jasmine, she's very shoulder dominant in this back pose, right? Like you see this width up top, like that is, that starts to give you figure competitor vibes in a way, just because of the dramatic taper that you're going to see there in that. So very shoulder dominant in this, doesn't look totally symmetrical with the lower body in that case. She has obviously all the good shape for bikini and the glute, the upper glute overall, tying everything, that slight separation's good. Her glutes maybe even a tad overpowering from the back. Might want to bring up a little bit more hamstring, a little bit more, quad to match the glute. But realistically, it's probably just a factor of the glutes need to kind of come down a little bit, and same with the shoulders to get a little bit more symmetrical, compact the frame. I mean, look at Vania here compared to that, like the amount of shoulder development popping off Jasmine versus Vania, or the amount of shoulder development coming off of Tamikia here versus, Vania. It is a lot. So realistically, and her, for example, over here, we got a lot of that same kind of figure vibes going on, a lot of muscle density in the upper back, a lot of things that, judges are not even wanting to see, but if they do see it, they will score that in a way like that. That can be an indicator. If judges see your back, which is why it's good to always leave your hair down. Sometimes it doesn't always land that way, but if they do see this kind of stuff, this can be an indicator. Oh, she's pretty muscular. She's pretty lean. That's not really what we're going for here. Okay. It's that type of thing. And for her, a little bit, less dominant in the glutes, so on and so forth, maybe adding a little more density to the upper glute, a little more 3D effect from the glute overall would be good. But either way, you see that both of these physiques, still within criteria, don't get me wrong, but very different than Vania's look here at this point. So clear message from judges if you ask me about where they want to take bikini criteria. Now, you might be watching this and wondering like, okay, well, I want to compete in bikini. I want to be a bikini competitor. I'm trying to figure this out. I already am a bikini competitor. I want to get my pro card. I don't know what the strong points are on my physique. I don't know what areas I need to bring down. I don't know what areas. Well, guess what? I got a free coaching trial for you. And, I'm trying to talk about this more and more in the videos because people keep getting their mind blown that I have this. And, they've been watching my channel for years and they didn't know because I haven't talked about it enough. I have a free coaching trial where you train with me in my training platform free for 7 days. You pop in there, you can, send, check-in pictures, upload those in there. I can give you feedback on your physique and I will design you training sessions to get you exactly where you would want to be, really, right? So it's a free 7-day trial to work with me in my training platform, just like all my athletes and my clients. And you get to work with me free for 7 days, no obligation to sign up. You don't have to pay for anything. You don't have to do any of that. It's not a car sales, car dealership or anything where, as soon as you're in the door, we're going to sell you a car. No, it's none of that. It's really another value add for the audience. It's another way for you out here watching to get a better insight into, what you need to be doing on stage. I mean, I make these videos for no other reason than to hopefully you go watch it, you learn something, you go to stage, you do better. And that, makes me happy to imagine the people out there that watch these things and apply it to their training and they do better. And I don't even know who you are. Well, you get 100 times that if you come in the trial and hang out with me for a week. I can teach you so much more than what I can on YouTube. So check that out. It's in the description. Let's move now down to 8th. and then 9th. Vania will keep in the middle, and we got 8th over here, Jordan. Okay, so Jordan over here, debatably in the group of the 10 athletes that were at Arnold, she is the most muscular and also, very lean. She pushed the lean level. I mean, as soon as you see her physique, that is, I think everybody probably on the screen, as soon as I switch that over, you're like, okay, looking at that next to Vania, I mean, these are not the same level of looks at this point. Bikini is really pulling its way towards, the roots of bikini again, I think, where some of the athletes that are bringing more size, bringing more conditioning are going to continue to, not be placing in the top. We'll see what happens, as this season goes. It's very early, but at least at this event, Jordan here, she's got a lot of shoulder size. She's got a lot of, bicep and tricep size. She's very lean. You can see the veins in the forearms and in the biceps. You can start to see feathering of her quads even here, right? Like this is actual quad separation happening. Super lean across here in the glutes and in the quad. Abdominals, very lean. So a really conditioned and really muscular look, and she's placing 8th. So again, it moves further down the line, which appears to be the more condition that you're going to get and the bigger, in bikini, at least as it sits right now, that's becoming not the best thing for the criteria, right? She still has a good hourglass shape, obviously a very quality physique, but it's not really going to, be what is placing at the top right here at this pro event, considering we look at Vania over here, and it doesn't look anything like that, right? Like Vania's frame and shape and size, development and symmetry is all really right there, just perfect for the division, as well as her condition. And then, you look over at Jordan, very lean, very much carrying a lot more muscle. And I think that, again, clear message that the criteria is moving a bit away from that look as we continue to see now, with 6th, 7th, and now 8th, the athletes that are leaner and more muscular placing out of that top 5. And that's kind of what happens. All right, now looking over at Angelica. So everybody knows Angelica. She was a big fan favorite, former Olympia champion. And, I did see some stuff on social media that she's retired after this event. Well, who knows? Because, athletes say this kind of stuff a lot. I think she retired once already. But hey, either way, Angelica, she really does have, the staple bikini look of like 2018. So she really never got rid of that look. She kind of maintained it all the time. I think that she just kind of got to the point where that look has stayed and she hasn't really changed her look much to meet current criteria in a lot of ways, right? So looking at her physique here, all the good frameworks of that look and, that time of bikini, and still obviously some well within criteria today. I do think, though, she came very lean and depleted, which I think did factor because she's placing 9th here, right? And so it's not so much of an over-muscled look for her as it is a very lean look, right? Like these are some very hard cuts right here. We start to see this. You can start to see some of that same separation in the quads, a little bit of feathering here. These abdominals are very lean. We start to see ribs popping through right here. So she's honestly about as lean probably as Jordan is over here. Jordan just has more muscle, so it appears even leaner. Angelica is very lean, not as much muscle in that sense, and so doesn't have, the crazy, other types of things we would see that would be, not really bikini criteria, such as the veins, the deep cuts, the graininess, the striations, things like that. So Angelica, a very great look overall, probably a bit too lean, over depleted. We do start to see some, veins and such in the calves and things. Again, just an indicator her physique looks a little bit stringier, depleted, leaner, not really the thing. If she had filled out a little bit more, may have been an advantage, meaning like, softened her conditioning and maybe just filled out the muscles a little more so they looked a bit more developed. However, again, I think she retired after this one from what I've seen on social media, and that would, kind of make sense. So looking here now at the back, full story's never told. So until we get here, and here's where we're at. By the way, you guys are liking this stuff. You enjoy these videos, comment down below. I'm doing these on fan requests. I'm doing these on your request. I wasn't going to do the 6 to 10, but you all asked for it. I did it. So whatever else you want to see, let me know. and I'll get it up here. Okay, so Jordan again, right? Jordan's back pose. Super, honestly, a different look here, but it's still very upper body heavy. It's a lot of shoulder size here, a lot of tricep size here. It's that upper body look. She's very muscled. She has a very muscled physique. Her glute shape overall looks good. Upper glute, overall glute. But, these glutes are pretty freaking hypertrophied, meaning very big. Like, I'm looking at this and I do assessments on videos all the time of many classes. Her glutes and lower body start to give me a little bit of a wellness vibe, right? So it's, again, just an indicator how much muscle she's packing on her frame there. And again, she's taken 8th here out of 10. So I think a pretty clear message from judges, like they don't want the over muscle bikini look in at least that top 5, and especially moving out, too much muscle, too much condition is going to place you lower and lower. So for all you amateurs watching, keep that in mind, because that's even worse at amateur shows, to be honest, right? Like all the pros like this, we're talking about, 10 pros at the Arnold here. That is going to be a very consistent look. But if you bring a very lean, very muscle dominant look to a regional event, it's going to look like, an orange standing on stage next to a bunch of apples, because you would be way out of the group. And a lot of people think that that's a good thing. A lot of competitors, I know, they get in their head and they're like, oh yeah, well, if I'm the biggest and the leanest, I'll win no matter what. Well, really, not really, because, a lot of times you end up looking out of the criteria a lot more than even the pros can, right? The pros are all so well developed into their criteria. They've been doing it for whatever amount of time. They obviously got a pro card. They're competing at the pro level, right? Like they can shift their looks a lot more dramatically than amateurs can, but the look on stage is going to be much more consistent. So the NPC level, really a big concern to watch out for getting too much size, too lean. You don't want to do it. Okay. So for Jordan, a lot of muscle, right? Like just a lot. You start seeing a little bit of quad sweeps. It's just a lot of muscle on her frame. And I think we saw with the placings at Arnold in general that they did not go for that look. I mean, like, look at Vania's back pose compared. It's like it is almost like looking at a bikini competitor here versus a wellness competitor in a way. So I just think a very muscled look, a very lean look for Jordan. And that's probably, an indicator. Now, looking over here at Angelica, again, all the same great framework of like 2018 look. That was really the look back then. She needs to be a little bit more fulfilled out. Obviously, she retired, pretty sure, so probably won't see her back. But if she had filled out and came a little softer, it may have been an advantage. She still has good glute shape overall, upper glute, all this tie-in separation. But since she's not as full and she brought a little bit more of a depleted, leaner look, I think that was the main factor here, right? She has almost the same level of condition as Jordan, but not as again, not as muscular. So moves her down into that 9th spot. One more competitor to look at, okay? I'm just going to leave Angelica here because it just looks weird to have an empty spot on the screen. But we have one more competitor, Anastasia, 10th place here. Okay, so Anastasia, overall good physique, brings everything in pretty well, tapers in, lower body here, everything's good. All of this shape and size and symmetry is pretty good overall. When we look to the back, this is where we get the most example out of it. Realistically, from the front, very close, very on par. Seems to be at the right level of condition. Seems to have, maybe could fill out the shoulders just a little bit more, add some more roundness in there, but overall pretty on par, pretty good look. What the main thing that stands out to me again is the back, where we just are not getting a lot of that shape from the upper glute. We're not getting a lot of the overall glute shape and development, and her quads and her hamstrings do tend to appear a little bit out of balance compared to the glutes. So that is a factor, obviously, right? Where if you have a muscle group that needs a little bit, to be brought up, so to speak, that's going to really stand out, especially on a pro stage. Like you can see Vania's glutes very three-dimensional, have a lot of pop to them, overall upper glute, overall glute. See it a lot more than you do looking over here at Anastasia. So that's the main thing again. You start to see as you move out the call out, a lot of variances in what you will see out of that top 5. The top 5 very tight a lot of times in the scoring. And then out here, as we go, you start to really do see the big differences. And I think the take-home message of the day is bikini is definitely at this point going back to its roots in a lot of ways with where they want to put criteria, which is again hourglass shape, symmetry, shape, proportion, compact those muscles onto your frame, have the most shapely physique, have a good level of condition. Don't be too lean, obviously don't be too soft, but don't be too lean, don't be too muscular. These things will put you out of the class in a lot of ways. And with the placings at the Arnold, I mean, with Vania coming in and winning this, it is maybe an era of bikini. We will see 2025 returning back to some of, the roots of it, the original looks. I know a lot of people speculate bikini has advanced so much. Well, we're not seeing the athletes that are advanced so much placing in the top really anywhere right now. I haven't seen it any of the pro shows I've covered on the channel thus far, 2025. I'm not seeing it at the Arnold, and I don't expect to see it as we go. I think that, with the introduction of Fit Model and bringing that to stage and bringing that out, in the way to say we want to make, bodybuilding be a more attainable goal for more women, which is really what Fit Model's for. Let's be honest. They want more people to be able to compete that otherwise had looked at, bikini competitors and said, that's too much. I can't do that. I'm not going to take 3-5 years to get there to be able to even do my first show. So they put Fit Model in. Well, I think that it makes perfect sense that also the criteria would kind of go back to its roots in a way for wellness and for bikini and go a little bit away from the extreme looks that had become of late where athletes were getting more muscular, bigger, leaner, and stop pushing those extremities to the point where we want to get back to a more attainable, more sustainable look as far as muscle and composition and shape and condition. So I think that's where it's going. And the placing with Vania here winning this is a very clear testament because she had a very, very specific look compared to every other athlete on that stage. And she goes with the win because that, again, is the look of this criteria as it sits today. So very exciting time for all you bikini competitors out there. If you want to keep learning more, exploring more, definitely check out that free trial. If you did not yet, just hit the link in my bio. You can train with me free for 7 days. I'll answer any questions you want, guide you on, feedback for your physique, train you free for 7 days, everything you want there. And that's what we do. Or if you want to just keep learning with the videos, that's great too. Subscribe, follow along, comment if you have ideas, and let me know what you think. Do you appreciate, or in other words, not appreciate, do you like the direction of where bikini seems to be going 2025 back to the roots? Do you prefer Vania's look over Jasmine's look or Jordan's look? Or do you think Jordan, Jasmine, somebody in the, later part of the call out here should have won? Let me know. I want to know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Coach Ryan is out.